I would have to say Epic embedded messaging is by far my favorite. It is the one that I have gotten the most praise for. Not only our nurses on the floor, but our providers being able to use it, just that ease of having it right there at your fingertip, not having to go out of the EMR to get to it. So just the whole overall Epic embedded messaging has been 1,000% winner for Roper St. Francis and for me because I get the glory for it.
I think I might have even heard a story about someone calling you a goddess.
Yes, one of our hospitalists recently, when I showed it to him, and we were actually in the pilot phase, and I was like, "Would you be a pilot user for me?" And he was like, "Sure, okay." And then after the first time he used it, he sent me a Telmedic message, and he said, "You are a goddess. I love it." We actually at Roper were the pilot site for Telmedic for the embedded messaging. So when it was brought to us and we presented it to leadership, they were like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Do you think it'll work?" We started our journey with Kevin, making sure and getting all the correct team members on board. And I think for Roper, this has made one of the biggest impact of anything we've done. We do have our clinical codes in Telmedic. So one of our clinical codes is our security alert, security assist. One of our ED nurses come to me and she was like, "I got to tell you this story because this probably saved me from getting hurt." She was documenting on a patient in the ED. It was a behavioral health patient. He started to escalate and she felt very nervous about that. She went into Epic, clicked her Telmedic link called a security alert, security assist. So she didn't have to speak to anyone. That patient just thought she was charting. And within 3 minutes, security was standing at the door on the ready to help her would she need it. That's the story of the day, right? We saved not only the nurse, because we know how often they get hurt in especially in the ED with behavioral patients, but all those tools she had to keep herself safe and her patient safe.
That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about your implementation and what resources you needed to get this across the finish line.
When we first started discussing it and discussing who all we would need, we knew that we would need our Epic inpatient clin doc team. So we had a great resource in Brianna here at Roper. Kevin Johnson was on that team. I think I was very lucky that Kevin and Brianna had worked together previously. They knew each other. So I kind of just got to weasel my way into their friendship. So, Telmedic already having built relationships helped me just, slide right in. And they already kind of had that knowledge of, hey, this is what we need. We had our integration team on those meetings so that we could make sure the integration went smoothly from Epic into Telmedic. I think also very important, especially with any kind of implementation you're doing, you have to have corporate communications involved. When we did go live with this, we rounded on all of the units. So there was so little for us to do on go live day that it was smooth sailing. We had already communicated out what was going to happen. We had sent the job aid. So everybody already knew, and they really already knew how to put it on their more activities bar. So it was great. Making sure we had all the right people was instrumental in making it a smooth success.
Timeline wise, I know y'all had a little bit longer timeline as our pilot customer, but just wanted to touch on typical timeline for doing HR embedded messaging. 6 to 8 weeks. And that 20 hours you see on the screen, that's the actual time that your EHR analyst would need to configure the solution. So it's a far lighter lift than many folks realize, especially for that overall impact that it can make within your workflows. I know you touched on super powerful story from a nurse, some highlights from a hospitalist as well. Any other stakeholders that are really benefiting from embedded messaging today within your organization?
All of the clinical staff that use it love it. It automatically attaching a patient to the message is assisting our risk management group. Many times we get requests to pull messages regarding a patient, whether it be for a legal issue or a patient complaint. So with that patient being attached to that message, we can easily search for that message and provide that information to our legal team or our risk management team.